This flight was particularly tense. Destination, Jamaica, and the vital first test. Atherton decided to put himself in the firing line and bat first on a pitch which looked more like an ice rink and seemed tailor-made for the West Indian fast bowlers. But for the second time in 4 days, England, largely thanks to Alex Stewart's 70, looked to be on top. However, as regular followers know only too well, when England's batting collapses, it does so in style.
350 is a minimum first innings score on a good batting track like that, and you're thinking 400 puts you in with a good chance of applying some pressure. But you know, you must always tell yourself at the back of the mind, if you're 121 for none, if you just had 2 wickets mentally, you know, the situation doesn't quite look so rosy. And that's what happened. We lost wickets in clusters. We got to 170 for 3 and then lost 3 quick wickets again. There were a few too many sloppy shots, too many easy wickets really for test match cricket.
From 121 without loss, England were all out for 234. The West Indies were quickly 23 for 3, but a certain Brian Lara was waiting in the wings.
Well, I played against him 6 years ago when we were both 19 in the Youth World Cup, and I was captain of England, he was captain of the West Indies. So, but in between then I haven't seen very much of him, but I realise he's a highly talented player. And in fact I hadn't seen too much of all the left-handers, Arthurton and Adams as well, who both played very well.
The left-handed trio of Lara, Arthurton and Adams snatched the game away from Mike Atherton as the West Indies built up a commanding lead. There was little warning of what was to follow, which proved to be one of the more controversial moments of the tour.
We've had 3 months of preparation and I knew exactly what coming to the West Indies was all about, and up till then, apart from perhaps against the Leeward Islands and Antigua, we'd not seen too much hostile bowling. When Monday night came about and Courtney slipped himself into his 14-over spell, it was what Test cricket's all about in the West Indies. I've no complaints. As a top 6 batter, you must have the courage and the technique to handle it, and I was very happy to do that. You won't find any of our top 6 batsmen complaining about that.
It was a ferocious onslaught, but rather surprisingly, there did appear to be a moment of light relief.
Well, he hit me the ball before, and I'd sworn that basically at myself for taking my eye off the ball, and I think he'd got a bit upset thinking I was swearing at him, so I was just politely pointing out I wasn't.
Had Atherton survived just one more ball, Walsh would have been out of the attack. Part of the West Indian game plan is to deliberately target the opposing captain, and they knew the psychological effect his dismissal would have on his teammates. It had been a thorough examination of his technique, not to mention his bravery, and Atherton knew there were still 2 months and 4 tests to go.
Enjoyment's probably the wrong word. I got into it in that session. I was quite enjoying it. I was quite relishing the challenge. You know, there was a game to be saved from our point of view. And Courtney is a high-class fast bowler, was bowling as well as he can. So, from a cricketing point of view, it's a very challenging time. I was just sorry I wasn't quite up to it in the end.
2 hours later, and the England captain socialises with the opposition at yet another cocktail party. It's a testimony to international cricket that the players will freely mix after play. But as Devon Malcolm discovered, hostilities were immediately resumed in the morning when Walsh's barrage prompted banner headlines and criticism of the independent umpire from Zimbabwe.
The viewing was fairly plain for everybody to see, and the intent was there. No more needs to be said.
Walshy was bowling at a length that was just bouncing above the stumps, and he was taking his eyes off the ball. And I think that when you do that, you're going to be in trouble. I think regardless of whether you're batting at 1 or 11, you've always got to watch the ball.
Maybe Alex Stewart should have watched the ball a little more closely. His run-out prompting England's second innings decline to 155 for 6, as England's hopes of saving the first test all but evaporated.
He's gone. He's got behind. Gone. That's all the way through Graham Thorpe.
Graham Hick was regarded by many as a risky choice for the tour because of his poor record against fast bowling. Atherton publicly backed him last year against Australia, and now when the chips were down, Hick repaid him for that vote of confidence. He battled his way to 96 before facing this delivery from Kenneth Benjamin.
That's in the air and he's gone.
Brilliant catch by Harper at second slip, so it's not to be.
Hick's dismissal ensured that there wouldn't be a repeat of England's heroics here 4 years ago when Graham Gooch's team pulled off a remarkable victory. The first Test match of any tour is vitally important, but this one seemed to be even more so because of the inexperience of the England team and the fact that the West Indies are usually slow starters. The West Indies completed their 8-wicket win in a deserted Sabina Park off only 32 balls on the final day. And while England may not have impressed everyone on the field, they're at least proving to be a hit off it.
They're friendly.
Friendly night.
Especially like people like Graham Thorpe, Alex Stewart, Jack Russell. The skipper is okay.
There was more bad news when, out of the blue, Devon Malcolm was flown home for knee surgery. I felt they should have called up a replacement, but they didn't. Malcolm returned later, but wasn't considered fit enough for the tests. You tend to learn lessons the hard way in the Caribbean.
I mean, I was batting on Monday night, but they tell me that the dressing room was very quiet and silent on Monday watching it. That's what Test cricket's all about in the West Indies, and for people who haven't been here before, they know that now, and they must steel themselves against what's to come.